Why are issues in relationships trending? So many people are profiting off of people having unsuccessful relationships. It's crazy and it makes no sense, but it makes dollars. We talking about from abortions to deadbeat dads, fatherless homes, to single mothers, breaking up homes. It's getting out of hand. And nobody's actually providing solutions. Everybody is talking about the problem and nobody's talking about solutions. When in fact, there's many solutions, but are people going to actually acknowledge them? Do people actually want to take accountability and say, yes, this is what we need to do to handle the situation to stop the bleeding? Like, and understand how we're going to progress. Nobody's perfect, obviously, but in order for it to progress, people have to make acknowledgement and say, yes, this is where society has issues, whether it's through the law or whether it's personal from someone's character, behavior. Once people take these steps, then society will change. Now, the laws is in a bad situation because it gives incentives for women to make bad decisions and benefit from it. But at the same time, men are aware of it, but they just don't want to acknowledge it. Men are very aware of it. You know, you ejaculate inside of a woman and breed her, and it's not a situation that's good, then eventually you could be on a noose for 18 years minimum. So why take that chance? But then it's like, well, that's in your DNA, in your genes where you want to reproduce. But are you reproducing with the correct one? And then to balance it out, it goes the same way. Are women actually acknowledging the same thing? It's in a woman's DNA to want to reproduce. That's why humans love sex, because humans want to reproduce. But humans are forgetting that reproduction is not simply just reproduction. It's a lifelong toll. It's a lifelong journey that you got to accept and say, I'm accepting this journey and this mission, and I'm going to be responsible for the lives that I'm bringing into this planet. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to have the best benefit for them and risking my life and giving my life so that they are sustained in the most feasible way according to your financial situation. But people just are having too much fun on this planet right now. This planet is, it's like on a crash course. And, you know, shout out to Kevin Samuels. I know a lot of people didn't like him. He said, you know, die alone. And when he meant die alone, I don't know if you remember that commercial back in the 90s where it was like the crash dummy. When that dummy ran into that wall, you know, they say the women hit the wall. Boom, they hit that wall. No seatbelt, even with a seatbelt on. With a seatbelt on, they test based on the ratio of the speed. European is kilometers. The east is kilometers. The west is miles per hour. And you've seen the reaction or the destruction from the speed rate. So it's basically the same thing where your life is going at this pace that you choosing to make this decision from, and you hit that wall. When you hit that wall, you realize after the fact, like this is the destruction that you created, and you hit that wall. One thing Kevin Samuels never talked about too is men hit the wall early from bad decisions, but they not. During that time, men weren't aware of the bad decisions, and this is why the so-called manosphere or the red pill became aware of, like, from decisions that men were making, and now men are becoming more aware of these decisions, because during that era, you had a lot of stereotypes about men not willing to be fathers and such, and men took on that accountability and said, you know what, we're going to step up to the plate and handle our biz. It's actually innate for a man to say, I'm going to be a father, because once you know that you're passing your genes on, any good man is going to want to take on that responsibility, because that's your seed, literally. And you don't want to see your seed be unsuccessful because it's a reflection of you. But then you have those men that don't want to acknowledge that. And for some reason, a lot of women reproduce with those type of men. And that became the stereotype for the men that actually want to reproduce. And this is when the negative stereotypes came about. Same way the women that was doing a lot of negative things towards men became the stereotypes. And this has become the subject of the social media platforms to this day, which is trending tremendously right now. And like I said, a lot of people are making a profit off of it, and no one is coming up with solutions. So what's going to happen? We're going to keep talking about the problems, or we're going to create solutions? One of the solutions can be, we have to stop taking sexual activity as a joke. And it's difficult because everyone knows how much fun sex can be, because it became marketable, it became profitable, it became a pastime, really. Right now it's a pastime where men have been doing it, and it hasn't been like something that's serious. But now with all these contraceptives and protections, it became even more of a pastime where it happens and people put it in the back of the mind, like, you bust a nut, whether man or woman, and it's like, whatever, I did it. But it doesn't seem like society is gonna go back and realize the foundation was the most important situation that we could actually accept, and say, you know what, this is the truth. Humans have to reproduce productively, not destructively. And as long as we going in this direction, society is going to fail, because children are not going to have guidance and protection, and they will be influenced by the powers that be, and they're just going to fall to the wayside. And it would be just a repeated cycle, like many other destructive things, like gang culture, prison pipeline from the school system. It's going to be a repeated cycle. So it's going to take people to just stop talking about problems and provide solutions. So let's get to that point. Guidance and protection.